Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss about the transform scripts. In previous video, we loaded the data from CSV file to a ServiceNow target table called sysuser table. Right now, we are going to discuss how can we manipulate the data while we are transforming the data from the import set table or the staging table to the target table. So while we are transforming the data to the target table, there is an event gets triggered in the transformation, in the process of transformation. Then based on these events, ServiceNow created a scripts for us so that we will develop the scripts and link those scripts to the particular event that gets generated. So these are all called ServiceNow transform scripts. So what are the different types of transform scripts that we have? We have on start, on complete, on before, on after, on foreign insert, or on choice create, and finally we have on reject. But let's discuss each of these transform script. So what is the on start transformation script? The on start executes at the start of import set before any rows are read or going to be processed. If you look at this diagram, we have a data in staging table and we have a data on target table. As soon as we started the transformation map, the first um, transform event that gets executed is on start, and this on start will only execute at once, that is before transformation, before transforming the any records into a target table. That's about the on start transform script. Then the next one we have is on before transform scripts. The on before transform script executes on transform rows. That means that it executes on every row of the staging table or every record of the staging table. When that gets executed, before it is getting to transformed into the target table. If you look at this diagram, we have a staging table and we have a target table. When this on before gets executed, before the row gets transformed into a target table, it will be executed on each row of the staging table. At what time it gets executed? Before it is going to be transformed into the target table. For example, you have 5 rows here in the staging table. How many times this on before events gets triggered? This gets triggered 5 times. On before of each row gets transformed into the target table. Then what about the on after transform script? This on after transform script, similar to on before, it executes on each of the record, but it executes at completion of the or after transformation to the target table. It gets executed after transformation of the each each row of the target table. So if you look at it, we have the data in staging table and data gets transformed into the target table, and for each row completion, this on after transform scripts gets executed. For example, you have this sysuser detail that you are going to transform into the sysuser table, but at the same time you want to assign this user to a particular group. Then what is the best transform event that is available for us? It is on after, and this needs to be executed on each row of the transformed each row of the data that gets loaded into the target table. Then the next one we have on completion. This on completion is similar to on complete transform script, similar to on start transform script, whereas on start will execute at the starting of the transformation. This on after will execute after completion of the transformation script. This executes only at one time. Okay, then let's look at this entire transformation one more step ahead. You have a data on import set or transform map or transform table or the import set table or the staging table. Then what is the first event that gets executed, that gets executed on start transform script executed before importing the data into target table. Once that's executed, then we will come into the processing of each row of the import set table. This import set table, first transform script that's executed is on before of the each row that gets transformed in target table. We will get on before transform event. Then the source record gets processed into the target record. Once that transformation is complete for each record, then we will be having the event that's triggered is on after. So on after. So on each record, before transformation, on before gets executed. After transformation, on after gets executed. If you have 10 rows, on before executed on 10 times and on after is executed on 10 times. When on before transformation, when on after, it is after transformation. Then finally, once the transformation is successfully completed, then you will be having the on complete transform event. Okay, then we also discussed about on foreign insert and on choice create. These two events gets invoked on each row. When this gets executed, when you have any other inserts apart from the source table, for example, we are trying to load sysuser data, and the sysuser data you have the department as well. If the department is not available in department table, then you have to create that record in the department table. That's called a foreign insert. That means that you're not inserting on target table, but instead you're trying to insert in some other table other than your target table. That's called foreign insert. So this event gets executed when we have a record gets created into the other table other than the target table. Then what is on choice? The on choice, if you have a field which is having the choices, and if there is new choices getting created, then we will be using this on choice create. Okay, but if there is any issue or the transformation is failed for foreign insert and on choice create, then you will get on reject event gets executed, or that event through that event which transform script gets executed, that is on reject. That's the entire flow of your transform scripts execution. So right now we will see one of the use cases that we are going to do. We are going to create a transform scripts for on start and on complete, as well as on before and on after. For on start, we are going to create an instant record associating this instant record for the transformation that we are doing it. And also we will be using the on start to create some logs into the transform map, transform scripts. Then the next one we have is the we don't want any new inserts to be happening, so that's also been on before transform script. Then the next one is we would like to give privileges to the users based on the type of the user. For example, let me do this here. We will do that once we are going to create the transform map for that. The next one is on completion. Once the transformation is successfully completed, whichever instance that you have created at the starting of the import set or the transform map, you are going to change the status to completion status, and you are going to add comments to that. These are the 4 different use cases that we are going to work it at right now. So let's go here, examine the data that we already used. This is the sheet that we already used, and let's go to that transform map. The transform map that we have created yesterday is, in previous session, is load user data into sysuser table. Open this transform map. So we have created field to field map between our import set table to the target table, the source field to the target table. Which of the fields that we have used? We have used phone, department, city, state, email address, first name, mobile phone, username, last name, and location. And we haven't done anything related to the manager. So what we have here, the manager user ID or username we have to get the sysID respective to this, each of these sysuser record. This is also sysuser record, right? So let's create a new field map in our transform map. Let's go here, create a new field map. So we need to do a bit of the scripting so that we will be using here use source script. And what is the target field? The target field we have is a manager, because we are trying to assign the manager for the each record, each sysuser record. Let's go here. Target field is manager. Target field is manager. And for this transform script, which are all the objects that we have the available object is source. So source dot source source dot, what is the field name? The field name is u underscore manager. U underscore manager. U underscore manager. How do I know that the manager information will be there in our import set table as u manager? For that, you have to either explicitly or manually examine the data, the table, load user data dot list. Okay, u underscore load underscore u underscore load underscore user underscore data dot list. This is our import set table, right? And I am going to check this import set table. And if we look at here, let's go here and configure table. Let's see, this is the manager field. We already have a manager field and the column name is u underscore manager. To get the column value on each row that is transforming, what I should do, source dot u manager, because the source object will consist of the transformed row that is getting into the transformed at that moment. Let's go back and also try to bring that manager field on list page. Let's see where this is manager. Set from manager. This is the field. Let's bring that to assignment company. So this is the already we have this manager field. So while transforming this row, particular row, I would like to access the value of the u manager. How can I access that? By using the source dot u underscore manager. Source dot u underscore manager. This is my value manager information. I'm taking that into a temporary variable and I'm trying to see if always each of the row that I'm transforming will have the manager field value. If I have the manager field value, then I'm going to write the glide record query. Sys user gr add query. What we are expecting to have the value of this field, that is the, if we go to the record, this is a user ID. So you will be having a username. So with that username, I'm going to match my manager value that is coming in. Once I found that user record already in the system where there is able.tutor, let's see if we have anything with this able.tutor with the username in our user records. Let's go here, go back. This is a list of all the users and the username, the user ID is. So what we are having in our Excel sheet is the username. By using the username, I'm going to glide record this user table. Okay, get me the user record with my manager value. If it is already having a value, if it is already having a value, then what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to return, the sys ID of that record because it is a reference field. So for reference field, we always want to have sys ID of that record to be passed. So this is, let me do this, var ID, manager ID, and take this out, define this variable at the starting, and empty that value at the initial time, and return manager ID. So right now we will be having a manager information being updated on each of the records that we are transforming based on the value that is here. Okay, this is a field mapping. So once we have done with the field mapping, let's go here and create a transform script. What is the use case that we are discussing here? The use case is create an incident for the purpose of the data import or the transformation. If you are doing the transformation, for that transformation, we would like to create an incident record so that we will be having a record that okay, the transformation is kicked in and this is an associated incident. So for that, let's go here. I'm going to use onStart because this instance needs to be created just before the data transformation. For that, let's go here, create an incident where incident incgr new glide record, and this glide record on which table? We are going to do that in incident table, and incgr. So I'm going to initialize this. To create any record with the glide record, first we have to initialize incgr description. So user data import is in process, and incgr description. Description also will be the same. Copy this for description, and incgr caller ID. Let's make this as a current caller ID, the one who is running this, and insert this incident record. So once you are inserting it, you will be getting the sys ID of it. I am going to store this sys ID incident ID with a variable called incident ID. Okay. This is one thing. At the same time, I also want to log the information about this particular transformation. How do we do the logging information here? Let's create a string. Starting import set transformation mapping operation using the data source. What is the data source? Map dot table source. Okay. Map dot table source table, or else I don't know. Just give the and import set number. So this is just base 2 information that we are going to log it. and that is import set. How do we know that what are all the objects that are available here? So you have the ServiceNow document where it mentions everything about what are all the objects that are available. So let me log this, log.info, and this is the message. So to make it a bit more simpler, let's take out this everything. Transformation started for import set, and the import set number. And format this, save this. So in our start transform event, what we have done, we have created an instant record to have the record that is for this transformation process. And the next one, we also tried a log message saying that okay, transformation started for the import set. Okay, these two we have done with the on start. The next use case that we are going to do here is transform map should not do new inserts. Let's go and do this. So which event that we have to use here? So it needs to be executed for each row that gets transformed. And do we need to run this before transformation or after transformation? This needs to be executed before transformation of each row because we are trying to see whether that particular record is going to insert or update. And the logic that we are going to build here is we don't want to insert that. So on before if so this is all we have. If action equal to insert, we should ignore that. Ignore equal to. Okay, how do we know that we have this action available action as a option we have available here, or ignore flag is available to us? How do we know that? So let's go here, search for the transform event script ServiceNow. Go to the ServiceNow documentation. And these are all the different events that are available in ServiceNow. And the one that we are using it right now is on before, and the one that we have used the variable is action, and that is a string value. As per the documentation, what they are saying, action returns a value of either insert or update. What we have did, if it is insert, then what we are doing here, ignore. There is this flag, this boolean value. When sets to true, the current row transformation will be skipped. That's what we want. We don't want any inserts. Okay, so this is very important to understand what are all the different objects or variables that are available for each transformation step. So on before we have this ignore equal to true. Then also we want to set um, okay, let's go here, get this complete. So with the on before, whether that particular record is going to insert or update, we are getting that ID, we are getting that information in on before. If it is a insert, we are going to ignore it. The next one that we are going to do here is, in the transform map, we are going to do is on after. So next we are going to do here is on after. What is the business purpose here? Let's go to the presentation. The transform map should not give any admin privileges, and also it should add to user groups. For example, in Excel, create one more a new column saying the access level. Let's give that few users as ITIL. Let's give few users as ITIL and leave few users as an empty and give few users as ITL admin. ITL admin and give few users as admin. So leave list of all the users. So you have an access level as a field. You have access level as a field. You have access level as a field, and few users have ITL, and few users have ITL admin, and few users have admin, and most of the users have empty value. What they are trying to give us here is if access level is ITIL, grant ITIL user role. If access level is ITIL admin, grant ITIL admin role. If admin access level is admin, ignore the don't grant anything, because admin access level only granted by the manager of the ServiceNow application. So we don't want to process it. Don't process it. If access level is empty, then he is an internal user. So how you can grant any access level to the user? Either you can directly add roles to the user, or you can add a group. That group will have the roles to that. So these are the two ways that we can do it. What I have done for our testing purposes, I have created groups, and these groups have the roles as attached to it. For example, internal users. When we are going to add users to internal users group, when the access level is empty, we are going to add it. ITL admin will have ITL admin permission group will have ITL admin role. For ITL, we have ITL role. So let's go here. So when we want to do this, when we want to do the execution of this transform scripts, we want to do it on transformation of each row. That is on after. So then we have to read the value of the access level field. Source dot u underscore access. What is that? Access level. Access level. U underscore access level. If access level equal to ITIL, then what we need to do? The group ID should be group is, what is that group for the ITIL users? This is the group. Copy the sys ID. Copy the sys ID. Else if source, okay, source dot ITIL, then if it is else if this is an ITIL admin, then we are going to have the group as the ITL admin permission group. We want to add that user to the ITL admin. Copy sys ID. Else if source dot access level is an empty, then we want to add the group to which one? Internal users. Copy sys ID. That's it. So let's define this variable here. Let's make this as an empty one. Then finally, we would like to grant the user to this group. So if you have a value to the group, then I'm going to write a glide record query. I'm going to write glide record query to add this user to the particular group. What is the table which will be used? So for example, let's go here, service desk, and these are the members of the service desk. Which table, by adding which table these users have this group permission, you have to add this user to the sys user group gr member. You have to add this user to the sys user grp member table, the user and the group name, so that they will be having that relationship. So we are doing the same thing here. Let's go here, var gr equal to new glide record. What is that record? What is the table? Sys user group. Then this group, how many fields you have? You have a group and you have a user. So let's go here, configure table, configure table. So you have a user and you have a group, and these two are references fields. That means that you need to pass the sysID for the group and also you need to pass the sysID of the user. Let's go here, gr.initialize. We are going to create new record, and gr.group, grou. How do I know that's a field name? Because this is a field. gr.group. This is the group that we are setting up, right? So this is the field that we have. Then zr.user. zr.user. How do you know that zr.user? This is a user. Okay. And what is that? Target.sysid. Target.sysid. So once the transformation completed, you have that record information will be there in the target record, and which value we wanted, sysid. Then zr.insert. So this will happen for each record based on the value that we are having here in the access level. Based on the value that we have in the access level, what we are doing here in our transformation on after, we are trying to see what is the access level. If it is ITL, we are trying to get this group sysID, and if it is ITL admin, we are trying to add this to ITL admin privileges group. If it is for empty, that is internal users privileges group. Then to grant the user to a particular group, we have to add the users to the sys user gr member group or gr member table, and it has two variables or two columns, group and user. Group is the group sysID and the user will be the user sysID and the insert. That's it. Let's go and save this. And finally, what is the last requirement that we have in our PPT? So on completion of the transform update, update the instance record to closed complete. When we have created the instance in the in the on start, we have created insert. We have created an instant, and we also stored that incident sysID, if I am right, in one of the variable. Let's go here, go back. See on start. We have created an incident record, and this record being stored in the this dot instance. Okay, right now let's create on complete transform event script on complete. So if this dot incident, what we have to do, zr var zr new glide record on incident table grnc inc add query sys id is equal to this dot instance and grinc query. If grinc have the value, then what we have to do, we have to change the state to the closed and complete state. What? Let's go to the incident and see what is the value of that particular state. Incident list state show choice list show configure choices. We should set this to closed. We should set this to closed, but actually I need the value of the closed. Let's go here, show choice list, and this will be on incident table, and the one that we want is closed. The value is 7. The value is 7. And I would like also to update the additional comments or the work notes. Of the work notes. As transformation successfully completed. Let's go here, save this. So as of now, we created 4 transform scripts. What are they? We have created on start, on after, on before, and on complete. Let's go ahead and test this. So data sources, download this fresh copy of it, download, and the one that we wanted is CSV. And data sources, the one that we have created is load user data. And this data source is of which type? It is of CSV file type. So it expects a CSV to be attached to it. Let's go here, click on this attachment symbol. And delete this and freshly add new one. Choose file. This is the one that we have just created, just downloaded. So we have attached this and save this and load all records. Load all records. So let's go ahead and examine the loaded data. If you look at here, we have created a new column in the CSV, that is access level. Let's bring after city and see what is the value that it has. I'm not sure it's reloaded. Refresh list. Yeah. If you look at this access level, few users have admin, few users is empty. And if we go to the next one, few users have ITL. So yeah, the data that we have added to the CSV is available on our import set table. Let's go ahead, click on transform. Let's click on transform maps. Select this transform map because we have created all our transform scripts on this transform map. Then here you have an option here to click on transform. Click on transform. Once you click on transform, you have to select on which import set that you're going to run this transform. That is currently the import set is 0003 and it is already selected the import set that we are transform map that we are going to execute. Click on transform. So our expectation would be there will not be any inserts, but we are going to have some updates to that script. So I expect 500 updates because for every record there is a manager and it should update the manager in this user table. And also on after we are also trying to give access levels by adding the user to the group. That's also will take time. So if you look at it, you get to see the live processing. Total 300 records being processed out of 300. Now 400. All are updates. There are no insets to it. Right. So our transformation is completed from the import set table to the target table. Let's click on this import set. You could see that this will have a 500 total updates. So total records are 500. How many records been added? 500 records been updated. And this is the state of each of the record. So the records in the imports have been ordered from 0 to the last element, and you will get the status of each record, and you also get to see the target record which is updated. For example, this record 0th record updated James Butt. Let's click on it. It directly takes to the target table. The target table is sys user table, and this user being ITL user. Let's see if this is correct or not. This user been added to the ITL user. Let's in the example. Let's go on. This is James Butt, and this access level is ITL. Fine. And this user been added to the ITL users permission group, and this ITL user permission group we have granted him the role. How many users? 26 users been ITL users. So this is what. And also there should be an instance that should be created. There should be an incident created, and this incident, okay, user data in progress, but I don't think it is closed. We have to see a bit more on our transform map. Let's go here. So let's look at this on complete. It looks everything fine, and there is something that we didn't do correct here. We have missed the update statement here. At the same time, let's go one of the incident and try to see closed, save this. I think a resolution code is resolution notes, both are mandatory, I guess. Let's go ahead, close code, close code, grinc, close code. Let's have the close code as what is the value that we can have. Let's say resolved by solution provided. This is option. So capital S solution space provided. So solution provided. Is that correct? Capital P? No, it's a small provided. And the next one, grinc, which value it is? Result close notes, close code and close notes. Close code and close notes. Grinc, close notes. And this close notes, let's say transformation completed. Transformation is completed. Let's save this. And we need to do some modification to our script. So I'm going to change just this manager field for the one of the user gets changed. So I would like to have just that particular record gets updated, not all 500 records. Let's go and do that. And one more thing, in the transformation map, let's see if there is anything else that we need to update. So let's say on start. So short description, I would like to have short description of both are saying description, short description. Fine. So it gets downloaded. Let's go to the data source. Let's go to the data source. In the data source, let's go to the load user data and upload latest file that we just modified. Delete this and choose file. And this is the one that we just downloaded. And save. And with that, let's go ahead and load all the reports. And click on run transform and transform. So it should only execute or update just one record. Rest of 499 records will not anything because there is no change for those records. Correct. So the 499 records being ignored and one record being updated. Let's go ahead and see the import set. See the import set, and this is the record that gets updated, and his manager is different than previous load. Let's go here and bring his manager field here. Configure form layout, manager. This is the thing. Let's bring down here and keep it before we And again, we are expecting an incident to be created and closed. Yes. So this is an incident that that's the problem. With the transform maps on start, it gets created, and after completion of the transformation, gets closed, and we also set the resolution code to the solution provider, and the solution node says transformation is completed, and the work node says transformation is successfully completed. But the important thing that you guys have to understand here is how I have transformed the data from on start to on complete, this instant record. So this dot incident ID, when you define a variable with a this dot incident ID, this variable will be available and tie the transformation of the transformation, and also it will be available for the other transform events as well. This is on start. If you go back here in on complete, when we check the on complete, we are using the same variable name that we have defined in on start. Yeah, this dot incident ID. Okay. With that, one more time the recap of the use cases that we have just discussed. So we created an instance using the onStart transform map to have the record that this transformation is just started. Then we avoided any new inserts using the on before transform script. Then we have processed the transformation map, and we gave the privileges to the users based on the access level column. On completion, what we have done, we close the instance that gets created in the onStart. With that, we come to an end to this session. Thank you so much for watching.